Weapons was my third most anticipated movie of the year. I was a huge fan of the horror film Barbarian. Weapons is the same writer-director as the film Barbarian. And just with that information, with it being the same writer-director as Barbarian, I was fully on board with Weapons. So, did it live up to expectation? Let's talk about that right now. Like I said right at the beginning of the review, Weapons was my third most anticipated movie of the year, right behind 28 Years Later and Fantastic Four: First Steps. I was a huge fan of Barbarian. I love the way it subverted expectations for the film. Like, you couldn't really guess what was next. I loved the mystery to it. I loved that it was a horror kind of dark comedy, and I also love Justin Long. And so I was automatically on board for another horror movie from this same writer and director as Barbarian. So as we get into this review, please be sure to like and subscribe, you guys. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram for shorter versions of these reviews, or over on Spotify if you prefer podcast versions of reviews. And all that being said, without further ado, let's jump into the review.
And they never came back.
Alright, so I did not love Weapons. While I thought that Barbarian was fresh, inventive for the horror genre, there are moments in Weapons where the film falls, where it should have instead easily excelled coming off of the success of Barbarian. It's really difficult to get into the plot of Barbarian. We might have a small spoiler section here in this review, but for the majority of this review, I'm not going to be talking about spoilers. So the movie begins with this third grade elementary school teacher who shows up to school just like a normal day, and all of her kids in her class, except for one, are missing. They do not show up for school.
Mrs. Gandy's room was totally empty. And do you know why?
And without getting into spoilers, that is legitimately, honestly, as much of the plot as I can give away, I can talk about in this review. Weapons is best when you don't know anything about the film. Go into it with as little information as you can. From that singular mystery story element of the film, Weapons takes you on an insane roller coaster ride. Weapons is by no means a sequel to Barbarian, but Zach Cregger, writer-director of the film, almost treats it like it is a sequel to Barbarian. By that I mean sequels are known for building and expanding off of their original films and upping the ante for its characters in the type of storytelling normally of like go bigger, better, all that type of stuff.
We have a lot of emotional parents here.
And so again, while Barbarian and Weapons don't share any story elements, they are by no means connected. Weapons takes so many ideas of the script from the script of Barbarian and just amplifies them 100 times over. So for example, with Barbarian had two different points of view for the film, and by the end, those points of view came together and created this seamless story. Like, they were both naturally, like, they didn't feel like they were connected in that movie, but by the way it all culminated at the end, it made for a rather enough satisfying conclusion. On the other side of that, Weapons has 3 times the amount of points of view as Barbarian. So this is where, for me, Weapons didn't come together as naturally and as well as seamlessly as Barbarian did. With so many different points of view of one story, by the end of the film, nobody really gets a character arc. They don't have enough screen time to be a different person than they were at the beginning of the film. So with Weapons, all you really have is this mystery intrigue build to this movie, and there's not really much more to it story-wise. Don't get me wrong though, the first 75% of Weapons, like 3/4 of the film, is genuinely amazing.
Matthew, where are you?
It's intense. It has all different types of scares. There was a jump scare so insane in this movie that I literally jumped back in my seat and like got a cramp in my neck. It scared me so badly. But there's not just jump scares in the film. There's tension building. There's a type of scares that creep up on you that make you feel unease, like in your seat as you're watching the movie. It's also oddly funny, just like Barbarian, this movie with its comedy truly hits. Like, so many of the jokes are genuinely hilarious, and just while I was scared in one scene, I was like laughing hysterically in the next. And with this thick layer of mystery that Weapons has as its central premise, I was glued to the screen for, again, 3/4 of this movie. And then somewhere around the last point of view switch, like the last 25% of the film, I was bored. It really, unfortunately, did take me out of the movie. Again, I'm not gonna go into the end of the film here, but with a movie that has a mystery at its core, like is about trying to solve, again, the movie slowly pulling back layers of its central mystery, it's not going to please everybody. Like, that's just impossible to do. But I also feel like, with that being said, more thought could have gone into the revelation, the reveal at the end of the film. It felt undercooked. It felt underbaked, like it was taken out off the burner too quickly, too soon. Right there, going into the end of the movie, that last 20% of it, there is just a steady decline in the movie, and so much of the reveal at the end just feels so incredibly unsatisfying for a movie that you just spent 75% of the runtime being absolutely glued to. So Weapons is truly an odd movie where so much of it is just fantastic and sets out to do exactly what it wants to do, but then the end, you're like, hold on, what exactly is going on here? Like, what were we thinking when we veered the story into this direction? Also, with that being said, I saw Weapons in a sold-out theater, and same kind of thing here with the theater reaction. There were people screaming at scares, genuinely laughing out loud for majority of the film, and then by the end, like, the theater was so alive, and by the end of it, it felt like the theater had kind of just died. Like, people weren't asleep, but it just, the audience reaction at the end of the film was not there. So the verdict, again, like I just said, while Weapons is 3/4 of a fantastic horror, mystery, dark comedy film, the ending truly brings this one down, and you're just watching a steady decline in quality as the film, instead of soaring to its end, almost just kind of stumbles and doesn't have anything much to say by the end of the film. I really wanted to love this one. I feel like out of the top 3 most anticipated movies of the year, this is the only one that has disappointed me. I love 28 Years Later, and I really love Fantastic Four: The First Steps. This one just wasn't really it for me, and that's okay. And all that being said, I'm gonna give Weapons a 7 out of 10, and on a see it, stream it, or skip it, stream it. With my thoughts being out, let me know your thoughts on Weapons in the comments. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you just like it? Somewhere there in the middle. What did you think about my review? Again, please be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I will see you guys on